we have a lot of kids. And so we talk a lot about kids. And I always have this rule. I was just talking to a really good friend the other day about this. As I say, whenever you have issues with your kids, and there's just you can't have 5 or 6 kids and they're just all perfect. Like they're little humans. They their brains are forming. And whenever my wife kind of gets really concerned, I always say, would you have signed up for the current situation 10 years ago? So I'll give you an example. Let's just say, not saying this happened, but if it did, one of our kids got caught smoking pot. And my wife would be like, okay, and I would say, time out. If I'd have told you 10 years ago, we got 6 kids. We live in California, the most liberal state in the country, and one of our kids may have smoked a joint. So I'm just going to tell you, as a dad, I would have signed up for that. There's a lot worse stuff. So I always have that kind of rule as a parent. I made a lot of mistakes as a kid, but I think if you'd asked my mom, would you sign up for a goofy kid who loves sports and one time almost blew the house up, but was a pretty good kid and got B pluses? My mom would have said, yeah. So the Tom Brady thing, everybody is freaking out. So I just want to remind everybody on this Tom Brady thing. If I would have said this before the season, he is on pace to throw for 37 touchdowns, 14 picks, 4,300 yards, 96.5 passer rating, and a 65% completion percentage, and go 11-5 or 10-6. Would you have signed up for it with no preseason for a 43-year-old quarterback? Tom Brady is on. He is on pace. Tampa Bay has been around since 1976. It is now 2020, 50 years of a franchise, right? He's going to set their passing touchdown record, their passer rating record, and he's probably going to go, because they play Atlanta twice and Detroit once, he's probably going to go 11-5. Let's just say 10-6, they split with Atlanta. Context, context, context. In fact, I was thinking about this morning, is that because he's Brady and we tend to overreact on Mondays or after standalone games, we all freaked out about that Chicago loss. He's screaming at teammates. They had 13 penalties. So I thought to myself, okay, let's go back. What have been the 5 craziest losses in the NFL this year? The first one was week 1 when the Jags in a tank mode beat the Colts. And we're like, wait a minute. The Jags haven't won since. So the Jags beat the Colts in week 1. And we were all rightly thinking, this is nonsense. This is not the NFL. The Jags have not won a game since. In week 5, the Raiders go to Arrowhead and beat Kansas City. In week 8, the Bengals beat the Titans and actually kicked their arse. In week 13, the Giants with Colt McCoy go to Seattle and beat them. And this weekend, Jalen Hurts beats the Saints. Tom's not even in one of the 5 crazy losses. Context. They went on the road to Chicago, a team that just blew out Deshaun Watson, crushed them. And they lost by 1 to the Bears, again with a bunch of new parts, against a very good defense. We got to slow down. Like, what Tom is doing, we would have signed up for. I think Tom would have signed up for. Tom, you're going to throw for 37 touchdowns, 4,300 yards, and go 10-6 or 11-5. Privately, Tom Brady would have signed up for that. He would have signed up for it. Peter King now joining us, Football Morning in America. Peter King, NBCSports.com, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. So I am in the Lamar Jackson camp. He wins.
Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Well, Colin, there's a lot of conspiracy theories floating around out there in the world today.
Yeah.
And you proposed, I don't know if it's a conspiracy as much as it's a theory about what Bill Belichick and the Patriots might do.
Week 17, they play the Jets.
Week 17, to stick it to the Jets.
If they lost to the Jets wouldn't get Trevor Lawrence, and Belichick wouldn't have to face him in division. The Jags would get him.
Well, he's remained committed to Cam Newton as the Patriots starter so far. But Jarrett Stidham did get some action last week against the Rams. So, once again, Belichick was asked about the possibility of making a change at quarterback.
Talking about Stidham going into this game, it was a little bit different than maybe in that Chargers game when it was 45-0, but he was put in that game at 10 minutes because he felt like he gave you the best chance to come back and win in this game. Is that right?
Want to give him an opportunity to play. So that's what we did.
Would there ever be a situation that you would be open to playing both guys, Stidham and Cam? kind of like the
That's
Saints.
kind of where we are right now. So, yeah, we're not there now.
Okay, so that's the key. We're not there right now. The word is now. If somebody went to you and with something, Joy, and said, and people thought, Joy may do this or that, and somebody said, Joy, are you going to do this? And you're like, well, I'm not there now. That basically, the now gives you the opportunity. You're not held to it. You're not culpable. You're not beholden to anything. Right now, I work here. I do this. I'm willing to go there. So Belichick is setting up a Week 17 start Jared Stidham.
The door is open.
Now.
That was not a conclusive statement.
Thank you.
You might be onto something there. In the current draft order is the Jets still have the number 1 pick. Then the Jags, and the Bengals, Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, Falcons, Dolphins via Houston, Eagles, and Giants. That's the
Chargers have a lot of talent to be picking fourth.
I mean, they had a very, very rough season.
I know, but God, they got a lot of players, and they got the quarterback right. So, I mean, they could trade down, but I seriously, with the Chargers, how many players can make the roster? I mean, outside offensive line, they may luck out and get that Penei Sewell, that left tackle. If the Chargers get him for Herbert and he gets the best left tackle prospect in 5 years, wow.
Well, the Bengals, Chargers, and we're assuming the Cowboys don't need quarterbacks. So that's 3 of the top 5.
But I would say this. The Bengals and the Cowboys, Joey, could benefit from moving down and getting multiple players. The Chargers couldn't.
Right.
What they could benefit from is getting the best left tackle for 10 years to replace Justin Herbert. Okay, so the first 2 teams are taking quarterback. The third team should take Penei Sewell. That's exactly what the Chargers need. God, this could work out.
I mean, if the Bengals trade down.
Oh, and I think
if someone's going to trade up in the draft, they're not going to trade up to get a left tackle. They're going to trade up to get a quarterback. So if someone trades with the Bengals at the 3rd spot, that makes it perfect for the Chargers. They don't have to move, and they can get him.
I could argue the Bengals don't need a left tackle. They have Jonah Williams, the kid from Alabama, who's a terrific player. I got to tell you something. When you look at the Chargers, what do they need on that roster? A left tackle to protect Herbert for a decade. Wow.
This draft's going to be something. So the Chiefs moved into the top spot in the AFC with the Steelers lost to the Bills, and with only the 1 seed getting a bye this season. Patrick Mahomes knows how crucial it is to hold on to that position.
It is important. We believe that no matter what happened, we would have a chance to find ways to win football games and make our run. But obviously, to be in the number 1 seed now, I mean, you got to make sure you hold on to it, get that bye, make sure you have everybody healthy, everybody ready to go. And then in the AFC, you're going to play a great team no matter who you play. And we're excited for it. We're excited to be able to control our own destiny.
So their remaining schedule is at the Saints, Falcons, and the Chargers. The Steelers' remaining schedules at the Bengals, Colts, and at the Browns. But even if the Steelers win out, the Chiefs would only need to win one of their remaining NFC matchups. So they'd have to beat the Falcons or the Saints and beat the Chargers in week 17 to clinch the number 1 seed. So they basically have to go 2-1, but they obviously have to beat the Chargers. Steelers, obviously, we're going to assume they're going to beat the Bengals. And the Colts and the Browns are not gimme games. So this is looking like it's set up for the Chiefs to get the number 1 seed, which makes things so different for the Steelers this year, because not only is that bye very valuable and there's only one of them, the Steelers' bye week was a long time ago. So they're going to have been playing game after game after game with no rest and then have to go on a playoff run. So
also, Joy, who's the best coach in the NFL off a bye? Andy Reid. So good luck to the team that faces the best team in the football off a bye with maybe schematically the best coach we've had in 20 years, Andy Reid.
Yeah, and it's set up for them to do that. So Mike McCarthy's first year with the Cowboys.